Hey everyone, I'm back in the plant room today and making soil blocks. Chris helped me and we made 2 trays already today and got them planted. They're behind me on the seed starting shelf, and I'm about to get started on the rest of the soil blocks. So I covered in the last video that I don't use a special soil block mix or blend. I simply use the soil that I use that I purchased from my local farm store. It's called BM6. It's here on the floor. And what I'm doing today is I'm just going to fill up this tray that I've got for mixing and use some water. The only other thing that I ever add to soil blocks is a sand for binder, but I don't have a clean sanitized sand at the moment. I usually buy that from like Halifax Seed for what you would plant up some house plants in. But yeah, I don't have a great source for that right now. I've not been into Halifax Seed for a while, and I forgot the last time I was there for seed shopping. So I'm just going to use the BM6. I've used this in the past and had great success for the soil blocks. I have some still behind me from last week when we planted the other peppers, and they're all doing fine. I have 100% germination on my eggplants, and a lot of other things are coming along, so I'll make sure to show you that before we're done today. But let's get started on these soil blocks. So this is a compressed soil, so I'm just breaking up some of the clumps, letting it kind of find its form a bit. And we're gonna add water. So I have my watering can that I got from my outdoor spigot because we don't have running water in the basement at the moment. And we're gonna really saturate this. I know that looks like a lot of water if you're able to see on camera, but we might even have to add more. Definitely have to add more, quite a bit more. Oops. So to tell that your soil is moist enough for soil blocks is you want to be able to squeeze it and have some of the water run out through your fingers. So we're getting to where we're good enough to start some of these. Right, so I'm happy with that. It's really moist. You can see it's dripping, no problem. I'm gonna grab my clean, sanitized 1020 tray. One thing that I did to help myself in the fall was I actually cleaned these. I need to do a whole lot more sanitizing here coming up because none of my 4-inch pots are sanitized from last year. It's really evident that I burnt out last gardening season. So what we're going to do is just push our soil blocker right into the soil, get it really hard and compact. You can see that the water is kind of coming out of the bottom. I'll get you guys a different angle later. And these are ready. So we're just going to set them into our tray and squeeze. And we have our first set of soil blocks. And I realize you can't see that at all. So let's get you guys set up on a different angle and you'll be able to see better. I realize that's really dark, but hopefully you guys can see. The lighting is not great in this room. We have one exterior window, and that's all the exterior windows we have for our basement. And I didn't check and I'm missing one, so I'll have to fill that in after. I am certainly not the expert at soil blocking. Chris does a lot more of them. He's much better at it. Okay, I checked. I have soil in all of the blocks this time. There's water coming out of the bottom, which means it's nice and compressed. Much better set of blocks. Good set. I'm gonna try to get you guys swapped around again. Okay, so squeeze it in. We're all full. And set it in the tray and squeeze. Here we go. And now we just do this a bajillion more times. So, whoever made these soil blockers didn't make them quite the right size for so you can see here, not quite the right size for a 1020 tray. So I do need to go the other direction and fill these in. I think my biggest complaint about doing soil blocks. I know there are other soil blockers that I could purchase. There's some that you step on and does a lot more blocks at one time. The last time I looked, I found them at Johnny's Seed and they were like $300 American. And then I had to pay taxes, duty, and shipping to get them to me in Nova Scotia. So I did go ahead and order some Bootstrap Farmer 72 cell trays, and they are due to be here tomorrow. I love soil blocks. They've done really well for me. I've definitely had strong plants. They do the air pruning where the roots will stay inside the block, and when it comes into contact with air, the roots will stop growing outside the block and it'll just develop a stronger plant. But yeah, I am clearly out of breath doing this, and this is my first tray of the day. So I'm going to finish this one, take a break, put the seeds in, and start again. Hopefully I can get at least 2 or 3 of these done. So the last ones, the soil blocker doesn't fit in here, so I'm going to make the soil blocks, set them in this green tray, and then transfer them. Okay, we got a full tray of seed blocks. Let's do some seeding. Alright, so I've got a whole tray of soil blocks here. Usually I like to do kind of one type of things per tray, but I do have a remaining package of peppers here. But I also have some tomatillos, so I think I'm going to start with the peppers and do a full tray of peppers. I'll fill in with either probably some jalapenos from some seeds that I had saved, because you can never have too many jalapenos in my opinion. So this is what was in one packet of the King Crimson peppers from Revival Seeds, which is fine. I find they're a bit more conservative with the seeds they put in their packet, which is okay. It's certainly not like the 10 seeds approximately that I got in the roulette package from Halifax Seed. This is more like 30 or so. And I do just do 1 seed per cell. I have really good rates of germination because the local seed companies test for a really high rate of germination. So I'm not going to put 2 seeds in each block and then have to thin later. This works for me. I know everybody has a different opinion. I've even thought about starting some of the mini soil blocks so I don't waste as much soil if I don't have something to germinate. But even on things that people tell me are really, really hard to germinate, I've had 100% success rate or very close to. Like my eggplants, for example, a lot of people have told me that eggplants are really hard to start, they're really hard to get to grow in our climate, and I had absolutely no problems. I have literally 100% germination from the eggplants I started last week. Okay, so these are the King Crimson peppers. I'm going to grab my painter's tape and my Sharpie, and we're just going to write on here and stick our tag on the side of the tray, which you can see I've done such a great job maintaining everything. I still have labels from last year. Just going to go ahead and tape over those. Five rows. You know what? I'm pretty anxious that I don't have my tomatillos started yet. So I am just going to get these ones in this tray. I'm not feeling very energetic at the moment. So I will get what I can done and then be ready for hopefully when my stuff shows up tomorrow. Tomatillo seeds are extremely tiny. Certainly not as small as some, flower seedlings, but I definitely just dropped some in this tray. That's fine. And with these really tiny ones, this is when I end up accidentally dropping more than 1 per cell and then have to think about thinning later, which is always so stressful. I usually end up trying to separate them and pot them up, and I've had good luck with that. So, probably what we do again this year. Managed to get a lot of salsa verde last year, and I was really happy with that. So, I will certainly plant as many plants as I did last year, and I won't regret that. Sometimes I regret it when I am desperately trying to can them all before they go bad. But we got our bonus fridge here in the seed room this year. We got that in the fall last year, so hopefully now I'll have somewhere to store some stuff to kind of help it hold for a few days before I get to canning. Okay, so I've got everything except for this 1 row, and just gonna drop a couple jalapenos in that row. before adding just like 1 row of the Tama Verde tomatillos. So another label. And we're going to make sure to label what type of tomatillos we have this year, since we're starting 2 varieties for the first time, which is kind of exciting. These Amarilla tomatillos are the ones that I found first at Halifax Seed. They were kind of tried and true and I stuck with them, but this year when I ordered online, I noticed that Annapolis Seeds had a good variety of other options for tomatillos, and I'm going to try the Tama Verde also. We have 7 rows of that. So another completed tray to go on the shelf. Alright, so I just finished 1 tray of soil blocks, and that's kind of it for me today. Chris helped me get 2 more, so we seeded 3 trays today. Today is Sunday, April 7th, so we're 9 weeks from our last frost date anticipated, and I'm starting to feel pretty anxious. Hopefully my trays from Indoor Farmer arrive tomorrow, as the Purolator expectation says that it's going to, and I can get a whole bunch more done tomorrow or Tuesday. So I've got some things I'm going to pop off these humidity domes and show you. I've had these in for a full week now, and we have 100% germination on our eggplants, our candlelight hot peppers, and almost 100% on our roulette. I can see a few little baby seedlings starting, so I'm going to do my best to try to get you in there. Okay, so these are our stellar long eggplants, and as you can see, we've had 100%, oh my, okay, we're missing 1 seedling here, but yes, almost 100% germination for our eggplants. I am going to leave the humidity dome on these just for another day or 2, and they're still on the heat mat while we wait for the roulette peppers to finish germinating. I can see that these seed pods are just starting to open up, and I'm sorry, I can't get a better angle, but the couple back here are starting to also open up. So we'll give those another couple days. I would expect them to be fully germinated before Wednesday, and then I can remove them from the heat mat and just keep them in a warm environment for them to continue to develop. And we're going to remove the humidity dome from this tray so you can see also. So this one we definitely don't have as much germination, but I'm quite pleased because we have 7 rows of Cayenne Ring of Fire hot peppers here. These are also on a heat mat, and we're seeing really good germination for a hot pepper. Sometimes hot peppers can take up to 21 days to germinate, and I remember last year the Cayennes taking a very, very long time. So I'm very happy to see this rate of germination already. The Hungarian hot wax have a few little babies that are starting here. I don't think you can see it. I'll try to zoom in. So this one here, you can see he's just starting to open, and we've got a few others like that here also. So I know those Hungarian hot waxes are going to germinate. They definitely need quite a bit while longer on the heat mat. So I would say these are going to be on the heat mat for another 7 days approximately, which is just fine. I expect it 14 days to see this rate of germination. So I'm really happy with what we've got germinating here. And I think it's going to be a good year for peppers. So I'm going to put the humidity domes back here and we'll get to looking at some of the other things we have started. So just wanted to quickly talk about what else we planted today. We did get a full tray of pimento peppers. We have 2 different varieties of pimento peppers this year. We have the Amish pimento, which we have 8 rows of seeds started. And these I've grown for the past 3 years. I've gotten the seeds from Cochrane Family Farms. They are a small, like baseball sized pepper. They're sweet, they've got a nice thick wall, and we've really enjoyed them. I've also diced them up and frozen them for things like fajita mixes or chilies. And this year we decided that I would really like some more color variety in my peppers. So I also got the tangerine pimentos, and I have 5 rows of those to start. Pardon, 6, because I have them here in this tray also. I also have 6 rows of King of the North started, 5 of the purple Marconi sweet peppers, and I had an extra row, so some of the seeds that I saved from 2022 were an early summer pepper. I believe I got those from Cochrane Family Farms also. I've really enjoyed all of the peppers that I've grown from them, so yeah, I saved some of those seeds that year, and I forgot about them when I did seed starting last year, so I didn't grow any of the seeds that I saved. This year we're going to do better about that, and our homesteading goal for 2024 is to learn to better save seeds. So hopefully we don't have to spend as much money to get our garden started in 2025. Okay, so crouched down here, we've got some jalapenos under this humidity domes. We're starting to see some germination, and I'm quite happy with them. So it's not uncommon for hot peppers, even jalapenos, to take a bit longer to germinate. These also are not on a heat mat, so I'm not surprised that I don't have better germination. I'm happy with where we're at, and I do have another tray that is about the same germination rate, and I trust that we're going to have a lot of jalapenos to put in the garden this year. So I'll put the humidity dome back on there. And the only other thing I have is that bottom tray that we started together. So lots of trays starting to fill up these shelves, and we'll get started on rotating them this way. If you could see, that would be great. So we could put 4 trays per shelf shortly. But for now, these little babies are getting lots of light.
These little baby seedlings make me so excited for gardening season. Obviously have a lot more left to do to prepare for that. So if you guys like this content, please like and subscribe so you can follow along for more. I'll catch you guys in the next video.